I guess you could say that Voyaging Satyr has been discontinued in Pioneer Lotus Field. Oh yeah! Well, I hope you enjoyed my CSI meme from the intro, but the reality is we are in fact cutting Voyaging Satyr today for the card Discontinuity from Magic 2021. It is a 6-mana instant that reads that it can cost 2 blue less if you play it on your own turn, and then it ends the turn. You can also just use it as a time stop on your opponent's turn, but the real reason we're playing it is you combine it with Lotus Field. So on your third turn, you float a blue and a green. You play Lotus Field with the trigger on the stack, you end the turn. This means that you untap with 5 mana. That's pretty darn good. And the reason that we're doing this, and I actually really like Voyaging Satyr, but the reason we're doing this is that the best 2 decks in Pioneer right now are Red-Black, midrange, and then Izzet Phoenix. And both of those decks play a ton of spot removal, making Voyaging Satyr a little bit worse. The mono green ramp deck is still fairly popular, but it's fallen off a little bit. So that's why we're making the change today, just to be better against spot removal. And that's really it. I mean, I've made some other small adjustments. I am back to playing Temple of Mystery instead of the 4 Besejus, because today I'm playing Perilous Voyage and Natural State in the sideboard. And these just help you a little bit with consistency issues that I was experiencing in the previous videos. So that is what we're playing today. If you have any thoughts, comments, questions, suggestions, whatever, put those in the comment section down below. I would love to hear from you. But for now, we're going to hop on into match number 1. I'll see you there, Lotus fans. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicsforum.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicsforum.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1. We are on the play. I remember our opponent is a legacy player. I'm pretty sure that they were a 4-color Chalice of the Void Life from the Lone player, and now they're revealing a Gigantha. That could be a number of decks. Here we have a pretty good hand, assuming I can find a second land for this Lotus Field. I'm going to keep. The Gigantha is pretty scary because I think that it means that they're on the Boros hyper aggressive deck. So if I miss on finding a land, we're in trouble. But I'm a lucky guy. We had it the whole time, and I will pass the turn. Alright, this does in fact look like Boros. Ooh, sleight of hand. I guess they're on Phoenix with Gigantha? Okay. We'll play the Beseju. Tap for blue, tap for green. We'll play the Sylvan Scrying and go get Thespian Stage. What are you on? Is this Ascension? It is Ascension! Okay. We could be dead, but I do get to play Lotus Field and then Discontinuity, so that way we don't sacrifice our lands. Woot woot. Am I dead? There's the Jeskai Ascendancy. I can't do anything. They have 1 open mana, and they play a Consider. They discard Breeding Pool, and our opponent's probably going to take a lot of actions right now if I had to guess. They play an Opt. The question is, how do they get another land into a creature? Because that's how they would win. I guess the card we have to fear right now is like a main deck Silence. I am going to play Thespian Stage and start off by cycling a Vizier of the Tumbling Sands. If they have like a main deck Mystical Dispute, I want to be able to play around that if possible. I don't know if I can, but I figured I might as well be able to cycle here. Alright, so then I'll copy the Lotus Field, and we will Hidden Strings, untapping the 2 Lotus Fields. Yes, yes, no. And then let's cast Pore over the pages. We have 1 blue floating. Okay, we'll discard Botanical Sanctum. Let's cast an Impulse here. I'm going to use the green. We find Emergent Ultimatum, and that should be enough to get the job done here. Well, I have to say, Discontinuity did look pretty decent there. Although admittedly, Voyaging Satyr would have also been good. Okay, and now we do black, green, Emergent Ultimatum with 4 open mana. And they concede. I love that for us. Okay. Fast and easy. I believe we want our silences here. Natural State's pretty good. I also kind of like Thought Distortion. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to take the control role and we're going to board out our Arboreal Grazers. We're going to accept that they're a slightly faster deck than us anyway. You could board in Path of Peril to hit their Carrotids. I don't know if I love that though, because they do have Sylvan Awakening and it's just not a very consistent path. Pun not intended there. Alright, but we're at 62 cards. I do have to take a couple cards out here. Once again, I think I'm the control deck. I'm going to board out Discontinuity, meaning that we're at 59 cards, so I have to board one card back in. Should it be the Path of Peril? Am I crazy? I could also leave one Arboreal Grazer for winning with Lair the Hydra, and that might be the play here. Let's submit this. Game number 2, we're on the draw. I mean, this hand's decent. We'll keep. Not as good as our first hand, but I don't want to complain too much. Sleight of hand. Silence was a good draw. I'm going to play the Bala Ged Recovery here because I want to hold open the Boseiju to hit their Jeskai Ascendancy. There's the Carrotid. Lier, Disciple of the Drowned. Let's go get our Thespian stage and just pass the turn. They play a Mana Confluence and another Carrotid. Okay. Interesting. I'm going to play stage and pass the turn. So this allows me to leave open Boseiju, but on their end step I can copy their Mana Confluence, and then that way I'll have silence up next turn, and then next turn I can play Lotus Field and sacrifice these 2 lands. I could play Lotus Field this turn, cycle the Vizier, and have Lotus Field available, but I kind of feel like that's a waste of a resource, so I'm not going to do that. And they put Jegantha to their hand. They're strongly signaling that they have a silence. We will copy the Mana Confluence. Hidden Strings. So if I cycle the Vizier and untap, I'm a mana short. Okay. We will pass the turn. There's the Jeskai Ascendancy. We're going to let that happen. Let's see if they try to play a Sylvan Awakening here. Another Ascendancy. I'm going to respond to this. Cast Silence. Alright, so they had double Ascendancy, so we have to hope that they don't have a silence here. If they have a silence, I'm probably going to lose, because holding open one Boseiju isn't going to be good enough. We will cycle the Vizier, untap our Lotus Field, and now we'll copy... Hold on. Why didn't you copy? And now we'll Hidden Strings. Yes. So what am I really doing here? I guess that's a question I should be asking myself. I guess I can Bala Ged back a couple times and use Vizier to draw, but I don't actually have a win. So I'm going to pick up Hidden Strings, because this will make 1 mana. And then we'll untap. So this brings me up to 8 mana. That still is not enough to play Omniscience. Not that Omniscience is good when you're tapping out anyway. Now we'll play the Lier. And let's cast Hidden Strings. I mean, I think I have to get really lucky on a Vizier draw in order to win this right now. Oh, I should have ciphered. That was dumb. It probably doesn't matter, but I should have ciphered there. That's a mistake. And if I take this line right now, I have to win via attacking. So that's actually kind of sketchy. If I Bala Ged back a Vizier right now. I guess I can just pass and silence them on their turn? I guess I should probably Sylvan Scrying. Use the blue. We'll grab another Boseiju. Destroy Jeskai Ascendancy. And then we'll destroy Jeskai Ascendancy. This is the downside of only playing 3 Bala Ged Recovery. I've been on 4 for a while, but nobody else plays 4. So I decided today I'd play a more stock list that has the discontinuities in there. But they're not very common. Well, okay, my bad. I misspoke. Playing 4 Bala Geds is not very common. Treasure Cruise. Yep, so they're back up to 7 cards now. And they just conceded the match. Okay, well, let's take a look at our top card. What if I drew off the Vizier? Would have been another Vizier into a Sylvan Scrying. I guess that's not true because I shuffled the deck with Sylvan Scrying to get another Boseiju. So this actually wouldn't have happened at all. Alright, enough wasting your time. Let's go to match number 2. We are 1-0. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Round number 2 on the play. This seems like a hand of Magic the Gathering cards we will keep. Okay, so we're on the play. We have an Arboreal Grazer, big fan. We'll play the Botanical Sanctum into the Grazer, and let's put the Otawara onto the battlefield. Next turn we can Impulse and play Lotus Field. Hollow Storm Giants, okay. We will cast an Impulse. Hiya. It resolves! We'll grab an Emergent Ultimatum and then play Lotus Field. In response, they cast Opt. This is probably Izzet Phoenix if I had to guess. I will not attack with my Grazer. Sleight of Hand. Looks like they could be digging for land number 2 here. They find it. It's Spirebluff Canal. Dark Petition. I'm going to cast another Impulse here, looking for Thespian Stage. We miss. I'll take a Vizier, and let's play the Bala Ged. Pass the turn. So I could Bala Ged picking up an Impulse, but that line of play just takes so long, where next turn I could cycle the Vizier, Dark Petition for Stage, play Stage and copy using the mana that I get from Spell Mastery, assuming that our opponent taps out. They have land number 3. Thing in the Ice. You've got it. They have 6 cards in hand. Discontinuity, not great here. We will cycle the Vizier, untapping Lotus Field, draw a card, another Emergent Ultimatum. Let's play Dark Petition. They do not have a Spell Pierce. We will grab Thespian Stage, play the Thespian Stage, tap 2 mana, or use 2 mana I should say, and then we'll copy our Lotus Field. You may now cast a spell on my end step or whatever, and then remove a counter from your Thing in the Ice. I am still never going to attack with my Grazer. Okay, so they play Consider, getting rid of land number 4. They Lightning Axe my Grazer, not very nice. They have 4 cards left in hand, and they play a Temporal Trespass. So they're going to take an extra turn here. Okay, and our opponent passed without playing a single spell. I find that to be kind of odd. We'll play Botanical Sanctum and just pass the turn here. I don't actually have the mana requirements to cast this spell, which is pretty unfortunate. On our end step, they free the Fae, flipping over the Horror. They mill over double Arclight Phoenix. Ay, ay, ay. And then they cast Otherworldly Gaze. They have 2 cards in hand. Okay. In their upkeep, they flashback Otherworldly Gaze. We're going to respond with Discontinuity. Let's attempt to end their turn. They have 2 cards in hand. This deck only plays 2 main deck Spell Piercer counter spells. Or, well, most lists at least. Alright, so I believe we have enough now. We'll play the Besage. So, green, 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 blue, black, Emergent Ultimatum. And our opponent concedes. Yes. Big fan. We'll bring in Silence and 2 copies of Thought Distortion. You can bring in Perilous Voyage because it bounces Thing in the Ice to buy time. I just don't know how much I love that. That said, we are not in a speed matchup once again, so Discontinuity can go straight to the sideboard. So maybe Perilous Voyage is actually fine. And then having 1 Grazer in your deck at any given point isn't the worst, just because of Lair of the Hydra. So leaving this in is kind of free. Let's try this out. Game number 2, we're on the draw. Assuming that we draw land number 2, this hand is pretty darn good. We have the Voyaging Satyr to bounce Thing in the Ice and Scry, but if I don't draw the second land, this hand's pretty terrible. I don't really like Lier being in my hand. I find that to be pretty uncomfortable. I'm going to be disciplined in Mulligan, but I want to keep. And I think that this hand is probably just better. We will put Perilous Voyage on the bottom of the deck. Turn 1 Island, and they pass the turn. We draw another Besage You, we'll play a Botanical Sanctum. End step, Otherworldly Gaze. They mill over a Galvanic Iteration. That means that they kept one card on top. There's Thing in the Ice. I did put my Perilous Voyage on the bottom of the deck. Emergent Ultimatum is a very good draw. Let's go get our Lotus Field. Okay. Land number 3, it was a tap land, and they play another copy of Thing in the Ice. I could be in trouble here. Another land. I'm just going to play Lotus Field and pass the turn. If I could draw another Vizier or another Hidden Strings, we could cast Emergent Ultimatum next turn, I believe. But it would also require our opponent tapping out and disrespecting us, so we'll see what happens. I think a Pore over the pages could also help bridge the gap. A pair of Sleight of Hands, and they pass the turn. Thought Distortion. Interesting. Let's cycle a Vizier. Untap the Lotus Field. Impulse, okay. And now we will copy the Lotus Field. If they let Hidden Strings resolve, I can Thought Distortion them this turn. But I feel like this is a pretty juicy Spell Pierce target. Mystical Dispute. Okay. We will pass the turn. And I am very close to taking 14 damage from 2 copies of Thing in the Ice. Otherworldly Gaze. They put 3 cards on top of their deck. I don't like that. And now they're attacking for 14 with 2 open mana. I might just be dead here. I cannot cast Emergent Ultimatum despite having 7 mana. The colors don't work. So we can play Impulse. Perilous Voyage does not save me here. Alright, we are going to game number 3. Fast start for the opponent. I am going to resubmit. Some of you might be wondering about like Path of Peril or other removal spells. I kind of feel like that's a mistake. It's a choice you can, choose to make or whatever, but I think we just want to, keep on with the game plan we have. This seems fine enough. Alright, Breeding Pool and pass the turn. We need to find a copy of Thespian Stage to really make this hand function. Emergent Ultimatum. Well, we have the payoff to win now, but I still have to find that Thespian Stage. Ideally, they would play a Thing in the Ice on their second turn, but we'll see. They put a copy of Thing in the Ice to their graveyard. That's interesting. Do you already have another? They do not. Okay, a little bit odd. I guess I'll try this Impulse. Our opponent's attempting to pay a cost here, so they're probably going to counterspell it. They play an Opt. They keep their card on top. And a Spell Pierce. We'll play Lotus Field. Pass the turn. They flash back Otherworldly Gaze in their upkeep. They play Basic Island and pass the turn with 5 cards in hand. Come on, land. There we go. The best land. Boom. Pass that turn. On our end step, they cast an Opt. Land number 4 untapped. What to do? I guess I could just play a Chandra here. Let's play Chandra. I mean, they probably have to spend a counterspell on this. Disdainful Stroke, sure. End step, they free the Fae. They mill over an Arclight Phoenix. Upkeep, another Otherworldly Gaze. They have 3 cards left in hand. They're about to draw up to 4. They kept 1 card on top. Land number 4 untapped, and they're passing again. Another Stage. I like that quite a bit here. We will just pass the turn for now. Allows us to play around Mystical Dispute and other things like Spell Pierce a lot easier. Another copy of Free the Fae. And they flash back Otherworldly Gaze. Mills over a land. They kept 1 card on top. So they milled 2 lands there. Thing in the Ice. They have 3 cards left in their hand. Let's copy Lotus Field. It can be a copy of a copy. And then let's Perilous Voyage the Thing in the Ice. I like both of these. Wow. We'll put both on top. Let's start off with a Hidden Strings. Untap. And then Pore over the pages. If they decide to use a hard counter on this, we can just Emergent Ultimatum and then they're dead. So they have to really pick their cards here. Okay. That's what they chose to go after. And now we will Ultimatum. We can pay for a Mystical Dispute here. And our opponent concedes. Easy as that. We're now 2-0 in this Pioneer League. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and Mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Round number 3, we're on the draw, and while we're keeping, our opening hand is incredibly good. Opponent with the Steam Vents, likely Izzet Phoenix once again. We draw another Impulse. I'm going to play the turn 1 Grazer, and then we'll put in Thespian Stage. So you might be wondering, why not put in the back half of Bala Ged Recovery, aka Bala Ged Sanctuary? We're not allowed to do that. Boreal Grazer does not recognize the back half of this card as a land. And our opponent just snap conceded. I too would snap concede if I chose to play Izzet Phoenix. And then they conceded the match! Alright. Yeah, sure. I'll take it. We're 3-0. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. We are back at it for the 4th match. On the play. Sure. So this hand doesn't have a Lotus Field, but we do have an Impulse to help find it. And if we do find Lotus Field, we then have Emergent Ultimatum. So we have turn 1 Grazer, turn 2 Impulse. Like, this hand's just fine. Okay, so our opponent has kept 5 cards. We'll play a turn 1 Grazer, and I'm going to put the Breeding Pool onto the battlefield tapped. No, I don't want to pay 2 life. Thanks for asking. Pass. You cannot untap a Breeding Pool that way, so you're allowed to pay 2 life, but it will not untap. They play a Blooming Marsh. So this could be like Abzan Greasefang. Traverse the Uvenwald. Yeah. This is probably Greasefang. They grab a basic swamp. Draw for turn. Beseiju Who Endures. Come on, Lotus Field. Pretty please. I'll take a Sylvan Scrying. It's close. Play the Thespian Stage, pass the turn. And it looks like our opponent's passing here. We find another Impulse. We'll cast Sylvan Scrying. Grab the field. And then play it. Pass the turn. So if they have like an end-step Grizzly Salvage untap into Greasefang, we could be in trouble. Especially, there's the Grizzly Salvage. And it looks like they did in fact hit a Greasefang. And then Sky Sovereign Console Flagship is their vehicle. I guess they have a Chariot as well. That was a pretty good Grizzly Salvage for them. They play the known Swamp. And now it's going to come the Greasefang. Yep. So they return the flagship that's going to kill my Grazer. And now they attack 4/6. So I'm at 14. Vizier. I'm going to play Otawara. And we'll pass the turn. Let's see what they try to do here. Rafine's Informant. So if this is Parhelion, they're threatening lethal. But I do have the Beseiju to keep us alive. And they do have it. What a mulligan to 5. Holy moly. This was quite the hand. Interesting. They're getting back the Chariot instead. They crew the vehicle. And now they can attack for 8. I mean, yeah. They could have threatened me for lethal here. Chose not to. I will take 8 damage. They play a land. Let's copy the Lotus Field. And then play Impulse. We will take Pore over the pages. Those 3 can go on the bottom in any order. The vehicle returns to their hand. We will start on Pore over the pages. Untap, untap. Discard a spare land. Cycle a Vizier. Untap Lotus Field. Cycle another Vizier. Okay, and then we draw Discontinuity. Not very relevant here. We'll make some blue mana and then cast Hidden Strings. Yes, yes, no. And then we'll add green and black. Emergent Ultimatum. Grab Omniscience, Lier, and Dark Petition. And our opponent concedes. Nice. Okay, so going into game number 2. I do like Perilous Voyage in these matchups just for bouncing the Greasefang or a large vehicle. But I think if you want to board it in, you have to board out Impulse. So a little bit of give and take there. You could also try boarding out the Discontinuity. That is another choice you can make. I'm going to try this though. You could board in Ritual of Soot or Depopulate as well. I don't think Silence is very good against them, so I would not side that in. Wow. Okay. Keep. Our opponent with a mulligan. Overgrown Tomb tapped. Razor. Nope. Play Botanical Sanctum and we'll pass. Concealed Courtyard. I'm going to choose to play the Beseiju, and then we'll pass the turn. Grizzly Salvage. They hit a Greasefang and a vehicle. Man, I don't feel super confident right now. They have the 3rd land. I am going to bounce the Greasefang before combat. So they would get back a Chariot, which gives them some value, but they also have a Scrapwork Mutt to then discard a vehicle later. So I just want to tempo them here. I feel like the tempo play is the best option we have. That was a very good draw. So let's Impulse, looking for another untap effect. We find Vizier, that's great. You could take Pore over the pages, but it doesn't actually help you with speed, where Vizier and Hidden Strings do. Pass. So next turn I can make 6 mana. Emergent Ultimatum costs 7 altogether, and it requires a specific mix of mana. So I don't have the win right now. Okay. So now they're going to attack for 4. I'll go to 16. They make another cat token. And then they traverse the Uvenwald. They do have Delirium. It'll be interesting to see what they grab here. They grab a Rafine's Informant. That's pretty scary. Because if they have Parhelion, I'm dead. Horror of the Pages was an incredible draw for the home team. Let's cycle Vizier. We might have a turn 4 here without Discontinuity. Draw. Razor's not super helpful. We will copy. And now we'll Hidden Strings. So this gives us 6 mana. Let's think about the colors we want to make here. So if I go Lotus Field, floating a blue, we then untap and we need 6 mana. So green's definitely the wrong color, because you have to tap Lotus Field for green for triple green anyway. So it's blue or black, and I don't think it ultimately black helps you any further. So we're going to have 7 mana, but it's not going to be the right mix of 7 mana. So we need this Pore Pages to be good. That did it. Discard Lotus Field. So now we'll do black, blue, cycle Vizier using 1 black mana. And now we'll untap Lotus Field, draw off the Vizier, Emergent Ultimatum. And now we get Omniscience, Lier, and Pore over the Pages. And it doesn't really matter what they give us at this point because this is going to win. Oh, I'm wrong. This is, I guess, never mind. This still wins. They're hoping that I don't have anything in hand, but I have the Bala Ged Recovery. We're going to cast the Bala Ged Recovery, getting back Pore over the Pages. And now we'll cast Pore for free. Untap, discard a Grazer, make some blue, Pore over the Pages, untap, discard a Grazer, tap for blue, so much blue mana, Pore over the Pages, untap, discard a land, we'll cast Dark Petition, grab another Ultimatum, and our opponent concedes! Yes! Alright, 4-0. Can we get the trophy? Stick around and find out for match number 5. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist. The 5th and final match for the trophy. Our opponents reveal the Gigantha. We have access to Lotus Field and Thespian stage. If they're on the Boros deck, they won the die roll. I don't have a turn 1 Grazer. We could be in a lot of trouble. Alright, so it's the red-green mid-range deck. This deck can be kind of fast. Turn 1 Llanowar Elf is one of their better starts. Play our Sanctum and pass the turn. Interesting. Our opponent played a Mutavault and then put Gigantha to their hand. Not the hyper-aggressive start I was imagining. We draw another copy of Impulse. We will play a Boseiju, and then let's go grab our Lotus Field. So we're casting the Sylvan Scrying. I'm experiencing a little bit of a lag at this point. Okay. A lot of clicks with this deck. Land number 3, their 4th overall mana, into turn 3 Chariot. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty fast clock. We need this Impulse to find some untappers. Like, our draw has been relatively slow so far. Play the Impulse. I'll take the Vizier. That's a good start. Play the Lotus Field. And then we have to pass the turn. My best draw would be a Hidden Strings. If we draw Hidden Strings, there's a chance at a turn 4 win here. They play a Lovestruck Beast, Elvish Mystic. And now they can crew the Chariot using the Beast. They have 3 cards left in their hand. And this would be an attack for 9, putting me to 11. So our opponent has lethal next turn. I don't know why they would leave back the Llanowar Elves. They can't use Boseiju, as far as I know. Because Boseiju requires a legendary creature. This is a legendary artifact. And when it goes to our turn, I guess they could crew it again. But does it make it a legendary creature? I guess if it becomes a creature. I don't know how the rules on that. But we need to win. That is not a good draw. Cycle the Vizier. Being on the draw this game was very tough for us. Come on, Hidden Strings. Pretty please, pretty please. Chandra. We'll play the Thespian stage. There's still a chance we win if this Pore over the page is like Vizier plus Hidden Strings. Hi-oh! Love it. So lucky. We will now cycle our Vizier. Okay, take a draw. And now we can copy. And now we'll Hidden Strings. So I could play Pore over the pages. I could also just Discontinuity on their turn. I think I'm going to pass. In their upkeep, we're going to end their turn. This is like one of the nice parts about this card. We just got to Time Walk. And now we'll play... I guess I don't need to play a land yet, in case color requirements end up mattering later. We'll cast Pore over the pages. Untap, untap. That was not great. That was not a very good Pore. Okay, so we'll discard a land. I have a total of 8 mana here. I could Bala Ged Recovery back a Pore over the pages. I could also just Impulse and see what we find. My fear with the Impulse is if I find an Emergent Ultimatum, I can't really do anything with it. I wouldn't be able to play it. But I feel like the Pore over the pages line isn't great either. So why don't we just Impulse, see what our options are? Dark Petition. I don't think that wins. So if I Dark Petition for Hidden Strings, that makes a little bit of mana, and then I can Bala Ged. So I guess that's the line here. Okay, so we're going to go get Hidden Strings at this point. We're running on fumes. Grab Hidden Strings. Untap, untap. Use black mana. So now I have a total of 8 mana again. And now I can Bala Ged Recovery, back Pore over the pages. And I need a very lucky draw 3. Okay. That's not going to do it. I believe we just lost. Discard Lotus Field. We were so close. Had to get pretty lucky to even get to this point, but another Discontinuity also would have bought us some time. So if I kill Chariot and then play a blocker for the Beast, am I still dead? It's 12. And they have 6 off the cats. Plus, assuming that I block Mutavault, I'd take 9. I guess I could also blow up the Mutavault with Boseiju. Alright, we're going to take the one chance we have at winning this game. And I now have to kill the Chariot. Oh no, I have to block the Lovestruck Beast, that's right. So, they have 11 damage. But I could kill the Mutavault, and that would be 9 damage. So we need the 2 cards in their hand to be absolute blanks. 3 cards in hand after their draw step. They animate the Mutavault. We will go to blocks. So, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you can't actually interact with me, but this is only 11. If they have Ember Cleave, I can kill it with Besage You. But I'm dead to a Stomp, and I guess they're more likely to have Stomp than Ember Cleave. So let's kill the Mutavault. And this keeps me alive against the card Stomp. It's the best I can do. Another Mutavault. Gigantha. Holy moly, I found the line. Do we have the right color mana? I don't think we do. I don't think we do. Green? This would have to be black. And then I don't have another blue. Hold on, can I Sylvan Scrying for an untap land here to win? That's another question. I think I can. Okay, so we'll go get an untapped blue source, which would be another copy of Otawara. We will Legend Rule our own Otawara here. Keep the new one. And now Emergent Ultimatum. Okay, so what is the line? So I realized last time that Omniscience Lier ends up with me being short. However, I have the Chandra here to make 2 blue, and then I could use Hidden Strings off that. So if our opponent tries to get tricky, we can use Chandra to make blue and then win. Okay. This will be our pile. What a game. They saw the same line that the previous opponent did. Now we'll cast Chandra, and we will make 2 blue. Hidden Strings, untap. Chandra copies it. We're going to make a bunch of mana here. And now we'll make more mana. Okay, and now we can Pore over the pages. I guess I'm probably realistically winning this game with a Hydra. Maybe I'm wrong. But it seems like this is the Hydra game, because if I flash back a Bala Ged Recovery for Otawara, I can't use the Chandra loop unless I use Discontinuity to time walk a turn. Because if I flash back a Bala Ged, I can't Chandra win. And that seems bad to me. Let's go grab our Lair of the Hydra now. We have 3 Grazers left in the deck. We'll play an Impulse. Grab an Emergent Ultimatum. Cast the Ultimatum. Dark Petition. Pore. Impulse. 15 minutes left on the clock. Okay, we'll float more mana. Untap. Discard the Lotus Field. And now Impulse. Gets Bala Ged Recovery. Let's get back a Pore over the pages. Green. Cast the Pore. There's our Grazers. Okay, this should be pretty easy now. Play a Grazer. Put the Lair of the Hydra onto the table. We're going to make some more mana here. We're also going to tap the Gigantha so it can't block. And then Hidden Strings again. And now we're going to copy the Lair of the Hydra. Because the Lotus Field was already on the table, it's capable of attacking this turn. And then we'll Cypher onto the Lier. And now we're going to activate Lair of the Hydra. We're at least 20. 21. Good number. Go to combat. Who's the aggro deck now? Boom. Alright, so I did waste half of my clock on game number 1. We're going to have to make the post-board games a little bit faster. Okay, so we're facing the aggro deck. I like boarding into the Zakama plan here. I just think that it's really good in this matchup. We're boarding in Natural State because they're a deck that often brings in Damping Sphere. So when you're boarding in the Zakama plan, you board out Emergent Ultimatum, you board out Omniscience. You probably don't need the Discontinuities. I haven't done this plan with the Discontinuities in the deck. It's a lot of cards. We're at 64 right now. I think maybe you're not supposed to board in the Temporary Lockdown. I could be wrong in that one. It doesn't answer Damping Sphere, but it does clean up a bunch of 1/1 elves or cat tokens, stuff like that. Natural State only answers Damping Sphere. So I don't know how I feel about that one either. I do like Dark Petition to get Path of Peril. I don't really want to board those out. I think it's probably Temporary Lockdown. And like, it's either Natural State or 2 Impulse. And I think I'm going to choose 2 Impulse. I feel like it's... The post-board games are all about Damping Sphere, and if I can have more outs to it, I want them. This hand's a little bit risky. If we find land 2, it's very good. They play turn 1 Copperline Gorge into Elvish Mystic. That was not land number 2. Temple. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I mean, I knew the risk when I kept the hand. The Huntsman's Redemption. So they create a 3/3 beast token. They could sacrifice a creature, search their deck for a creature or basic land, and then it mini overruns on the third chapter. Yeah, very good start. Come on, deck, please. Ayy. Alright. I can't but wonder if I'm supposed to... I'm probably supposed to just play the Grazer. It does give me Ritual of Sut next turn. So they go to chapter number 2. They sacrifice the Elvish Mystic. And they grab Thought-Knot Seer. Wow. I was not expecting that. Okay. So, interesting decision for them on what they take here. And they chose my Vizier of the Tumbling Sands. I'll block the Beast. Because next turn the Beast is going to have Trample anyway. Hidden Strings. We should try to find a land. That's step 1 here. We found land. Play the land. And now let's Perilous Voyage their 3/3, because at least this way we get to scry. Definitely putting Grazer on the bottom. And I don't think we want Bala Ged Recovery. Okay. So their Thought-Knot Seer will get +2/+2 in Trample. Reckless Stormseeker. Yeah, you got it. So this is going to be an attack for 9. Yeah, that's pretty scary. And this Ritual of Sut is not going to answer both creatures. It would only answer the Stormseeker. Natural State seems pretty bad. Okay, so what can we do? I can Dark Petition, but I don't even know what that does here. That said, if this was a temporary lockdown, it would not be any better. So I think I'm supposed to Ritual of Sut and hope that I draw something good next turn. What that something is, I don't know. This could be an attack for 6. Well, Darren Thrill Seeker. It has backup 2. So they're going to turn their Thought-Knot into a 6/6. Oh, this is just lethal. Okay, we can go to game number 3 then. They did not need Damping Sphere that game, and we didn't see it. So should I have Natural State in the deck or Impulse? I'm going to choose Impulse this time, and if it bites me in the butt, so be it. So we have 3 Besajus and 2 Perilous Voyage for Damping Sphere. It just feels like Natural State, if they don't have exactly Damping Sphere, the card's terrible. Like, yeah, they played that chapter card, but I don't think that card is what we lost to. This is for all the marbles. For the 5-0, game number 3, we're on the play versus Gruul Aggro, or Gruul Midrange, whatever you want to call it. It's really like an aggro deck, but a little nervous here. So we have both halves of the combo. We're just missing a payoff. I'm going to keep this, especially when I put 2 Impulse back into the deck. Okay. I'm going to choose to lead on Bala Ged Recovery instead of Besaju into a Boreal Grazer, which might seem like a mistake. But this way I get to keep Besaju in my hand for a possible Damping Sphere, and I think that's probably just a little bit better. Turn 1 Llanowar Elves. Sylvan Scrying. That's not great for us. We'll play Stage, and then play Grazer. Lotus Field onto the battlefield. And I could have played a Bala Ged Sanctuary, but I chose not to because if they do Damping Sphere me here, this is my green source. Besaju is what blows it up. Mutavault. Reckless Stormseeker, the aggressive start. I will not block. I feel like they might play like another creature next turn, like a Lovestruck Giant, and I could be able to soak up more damage. We need payoffs. Ritual of Sut was a good draw. I mean, I'm a little bit punished for not blocking, but let's just copy. I might be able to get another creature or 2 with this Ritual of Sut. I won't lie, I did not consider this card flipping over. Maybe I was supposed to Ritual of Sut? I don't know. Another Mutavault. Ay. They have 4 cards in their hand. They play Bonecrusher Giant. They give it haste and trample. We're going to block the Storm Charge Slasher and take 7 down to 10 life. Okay. They have 3 cards in their hand. We draw another Besaju. We'll play Ritual of Sut. Sylvan Scrying. We're going to go grab a Temple of Mystery, so that way we can get some scry equity here. We don't need or want an Otawara. Pass the turn. Eldrazi Obligator. Okay, they have 2 cards left in their hand. This has haste, so I'm going to go to 7. Need to draw something here. Vizier. So that blocks the Eldrazi Obligator. Or I can cycle it. I'm going to choose to cycle. Okay. Untap Lotus Field. Please be good. Draw. Okay. What does that do here? I have to keep in mind that our opponent has lethal on board. I can play 1 Boseiju as a land. So I'm going to have 6 mana here. I can go get Lier, floating a blue or a green. Alright, so I have 7 total mana. It's not enough to play Zakama. I kind of like the Lier idea, but maybe I'm being ridiculous. Because it also allows me to kill Mutavault. And then next turn I could Ritual of Soot. Alright, so here's another thought. What if, hypothetically, I get Hidden Strings here? So that would bring me up to 6 mana. And then Hidden Strings is up to 10. Bala Ged Recovery brings me down to 7. Cast Dark Petition. Hold on. I think this is the line. We're going to play Boseiju for turn. I think we have a good line here. Okay. We'll use a black. And now we will cast this, getting back Dark Petition. Actually, hold on. This is 7 mana. I'm not going to have any mana floating. I thought I was going to end up with 1 floating. Wait, I think I still do. Yeah, I have a blue floating. Okay, I was right. And now we get our Lier. 5 minutes on the clock. Holy moly, I gotta play faster. Okay. Hidden Strings. Oh, I can't. I have to pass. Whoops. I'm gonna time out. And I'm pretty sure that kills me here. Block. So I have to draw something good. 5 minutes. That was not something good. What can I get here? Grab out Awara. Pass the turn. Okay. They animate the other Mutavault as well. They're swinging out. We're going to bounce Mutavault. 4 minutes on clock. Kill this Mutavault. The only way I'm going to be able to win this is if I draw, like, Pore over the pages into Zakama. Come on, I hit F6. Let's go. 4 minutes. Draw. That's probably not going to do it. Another land. That's lethal. Bummer. And we're dead. Unfortunate. I just never really drew a payoff, and I was, for some reason, I don't know why, I knew that I only had 1 mana floating on the Lier line, but I was like, oh, that's enough to play Hidden Strings, but it wasn't. I don't know what I was thinking. So I might have thrown right there because that just like wasn't a good line, and I ended up using an extra resource that probably cost me the game. So maybe I threw away this 5-0. It's a little defeating. I mean, I felt like the list was pretty good. Discontinuity was better than I expected. I really liked the time stop side of it on top of, you know, the one time that we accelerated with it. So I came in being really negative about this card, if I'm being honest, and I felt like it slightly overperformed. Let me know what you think about that. But that's all I've got for today. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Have a great day, and as always, keep storming. Hey, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel. If you're looking for more sweet combo content, we have tons of it over at theepicstorm.com, where you can find matchup guides, play-by-play, and storm puzzles featuring a monthly combo expert. You're going to love what we have over there.